Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we'll be doing a short showcase of all of my Stahlhelms and a bit of an overview over the design, production, and history of the different models. We will be starting out simply with the Civil M34 Stahlhelm. As you can see, this model, or this example, is not in great condition. The liner has, well, seen better days and is almost completely fallen apart, but unfortunately that is what happens when leather is not properly cared for. But ignoring that, we will begin with a short history, assuming that I don't drop the thing. So we're going to start off. This example is a 5 M34 Stahlhelm double decal. This one is the earlier style, as it does have the protruding ventholes, which are all separate pieces. And what makes it a 5 Stahlhelm is the fact that there used to be, at least, a comb here. A comb would be just kind of a headpiece that would go up here. I forget exactly why they put it there, but it was to differentiate, essentially, between normal Polizei and 5 This one has the standard police decal. This one is the SE style eagle, and on the other side, of course, it has what remains of the party shield here, which has been scratched off. So that is one interesting feature. Moving on, you can see that it is a nice kind of black, very dark color. This is very typical of M34 Stahlhelms and other civil helmets that were used by the police, Luftschutz, 5 typically other colors, like gray, green would be used for DRK, and other branches of the civil services, but this one is black, as it is a police helmet. So, let's say something. This is a square dip one that is common with most M34s. This is a much thinner material. It is not as high quality or as, thick as the combat models, but this is, of course, the civil one. And another thing you should note is that with most M34s, there will be no maker mark on the skirt here, or size marking. So this does not have any size marking on it. That would have been on the liner, most likely, but of course you can't see that anymore. And actually, if you want to see, if I can very carefully move this, on the inside, see that? That is, of course, if it'll focus, the vent holes, and they are separate parts, and they are just little thin bits of metal bent in there so it holds in place. Alright, so that is the M34 5 double decal Stahlhelm. Next up is the Gladiator Stahlhelm here. This one is a Luftschutz example. This one is the very common three-piece stamped Gladiator helmet. You can see that it's just three pieces put together. Has no liner. That was lost a very long time ago. But it does have the Luftschutz decal. So this one is a kind of dark, it'll show up as a kind of dark bluish black on the camera, but in person it is nearly completely black, as it is very typical with these civic helmets. These were mostly produced late war, and as a result they are often very poor quality helmets. They have not casting, but all the steel, all of the materials used for this they're all very low quality, and they don't have to be high quality because these are just for, well, civilian use, really. So a little history about the Luftschutz. Early in 1938, the Reichsluftschützbund became the Luftschutz, and instead of voluntary service, they started having a more compulsory service late in 1943. So anyone capable of serving, well, would be inducted into the Luftschutz. So old men, children, women, anyone who was capable of fighting in any capacity. These would be painted in Luftschutz Blau, or just black, but this one is just black. Moving on. Here we have a single decal, which was scratched off, M42 reissue Stahlhelm. This one is, of course, the quite common M42 kind of mid-war, late-war design. This is a Civic used one, as you can tell by the liner, which is, well, not the typical, I believe, M35, M34 here liner, or just combat liner. This one is a size 59, and liner is dated 1943. So this one was used by, well, this one was in civilian service. Anyway, so, what was I going to say? Yeah, so the M42, little history, is that these helmets were a result of the late war production standards, as the German military still required Stahlhelms at the usual rate, but they needed to lower the quality and reduce the cost so they could keep pumping these out at a consistent rate to supply the armed forces. So they essentially just made the process even simpler from the M40, and instead of having a rolled edge, which you would see on M40s and M35s, they just left it completely flat. It's all stamped. The vent holes, like on the M40, are also not, they're all just stamped, not a separate piece. So that's one interesting thing. So as far as I know, this one doesn't have a maker's mark visible, as it was either just kind of eroded away or overpainted. So fortunately, I do not know what company produced this, but this is just a good example of a late war M42 used in the civil services. Moving on to possibly my favorite helmet, the single decal M40 Kriegsmarine. This is a really well-preserved example of a mid-war production M40 Kriegsmarine Stahlhelm. This one is a, this example is an EF, which I believe is Einmalige Fulda. This one has the thin-winged ET Kriegsmarine Eagle decal, and this one has the lot number 7731. It is also, as you can see, named to a man named Lanz, and you can see his initials right there. This one has a very well-preserved liner and chin strap. So this has some original camouflage netting as well, which is very nice, which is actually kind of not doing too good. It's a little dry and coming apart in some places, so I try to be very careful with this one. But this is a very nice example of a, I believe, EF? Yeah, EF. M40 Stahlhelm Kriegsmarine decal. A little history on the M40 is that around, well, 1940, the M35 variant was to be simplified for ease of production. So instead of just having a separate piece for the vent hole, they just ended up stamping it in there. So this is a single, this is just part of the helmet. In the actual war, they still called these M35s, really. They were never referred to as anything else. In fact, these were really all just Stahlhelms. Even the M42 was referred to as the M35 Stahlhelm for the most part. And M40 and M42 are mostly just terms used by collectors to differentiate the models. But anyway, that is my favorite Stahlhelm, and it is in fairly good condition. So I will be moving on to the next one. And here we have a most unfortunate M40. This original shell was completely restored, and I put that in air quotes, restored. Someone painted it in this really weird apple green color, and it's an attempt to make it an early war here helmet. You can see these decals are not really of the best quality. And in fact, the eagle here is one of the worst I've ever seen, with the feet being completely wrong and pretty much everything about it being completely off, including, well, obviously the head, and the overall quality is just, well, rubbish. But luckily, this is not an original liner, but it does have a little of the original paint on the inside, but most of it was overpainted by, I presume, a reenactor. This chin strap and liner are, of course, just repro, and they've been weathered. It's really unfortunate, but it's still a nice original shell, and I actually plan on restoring it. Unless, you know, it turns out to be original, which that is impossible at this rate. But like the last one, it is an M40, so I can show you here more safely if it'll actually focus. Hold on. Come on, there we go. There. That is the vent hole. It is a single, it's just stamped in there, not a separate piece. Just a little simplified, that's about it. Still referred to as the M35 during the war, but this is an M40. This shell particularly is stamped with the lot number 10029, which, if you can see, is right there. It's hard to see that, but 10029, and is maker marked SE with the size stamping 64. So this is an SE 40. This one most likely had an original ET factory decal set on it before it was restored, but I can't confirm that. That's just from what I've read. So an interesting example of a original shell that's been restored for reenacting. Also, a very strange split pin there, but don't know what that's about. Moving on. And finally, the last Stahlhelm on the list, an original M35 single decal, which has been removed, Africa Corps camouflaged helmet. It's very nice. It's in very good condition. This one is unfortunately missing the leather liner, but still has the original liner band and the felt in it, which is very nice. As you can see, someone put leather straps in there in an attempt to circumvent the fact that there is no liner anymore. There's actually bits of it, but it's all gone. This stuff, and this particularly right here, this bit of elastic staple to what remains of the chin strap, I believe was all done post-war, maybe by a kid who wanted to play with it, but still has the original factory gray primer in there, which is very nice. It's textured, it's all in very good condition. This one is just one of my, this is my second favorite, which is a little weird, but I kind of like this Kriegsmarine better. But going to a little history on the M35. The M35 was the, sorry, were the first helmet produced in the Second World War for Germany. Actually, before it, obviously. It was produced, and I believe it started production in 1935, as the name states. So this, these helmets, they were made around, I think 1 million of these were made around, and they were produced, well, pretty much throughout the war until late war, where they started moving on to the M40 and the M42 for production cost and efficiency reasons. But these were made out of very high quality steel. These were made out of molybdenum steel, as far as I know. and had separate pieces for vent holes. These were actually officially accepted into the services, military services, on June 25th, 1935, to replace the older models of M16s and World War I Stahlhelms that were still being used. This, well, I don't have any lot number or maker mark anywhere or size because it's been covered up by paint, but I'm not going to remove any of it to see what that is because that would be silly. But anyway, it's a very nice helmet. It's painted in dunkelgelb, which just means dark yellow. It's a very nice helmet, and it's a very good example of a early M35 in Africa Corps camo. So that will be the last helmet on the list. I will be probably doing more videos like this in the future, but if you like this, leave a comment. If there's anything wrong with this video or if I made any mistakes, please comment below. I would love to know if I made any mistakes. But other than that, thank you for watching, and, well, have a good day.